late 2022, OpenAI released the revolutionary artificial intelligence bot called ChatGPT. If you've never heard of it, you're probably living under a rock. Quickly, humanity began to heavily rely on AI as it began to be incorporated into almost every website platform. After its release, ChatGPT was met with a lot of praise, but also a lot of criticism, not because it was janky or laggy, but in fear that it could take over jobs, education, and so much more. Need a website to sell a product? AI can do that. Need background music for a video? AI can do that. Need to write a thank you letter to the guy that you didn't hire who took photos at an event that you didn't attend or even know about and you really just don't have time to write? AI can do that. You see, clearly AI is in high demand, and to improve its capabilities, we've become oblivious to the fact that art, which makes us powerful, is being made less. Without art, humanity is susceptible to the dangers of not fighting for change. Before technology took over most of our lives, art in all its forms was what determined culture and societal change, which was great because anyone could create art and stand up for what they believe in. It was a time where artists had the same influence as politicians. Take John Lennon, a very well-known artist from the very well-known band The Beatles. In a time where global tensions were high, it was the job of artists like Lennon to bring the idea of world peace to society. He encouraged world peace in his song Imagine, with well-known lyrics such as "Imagine all the people living life in peace." Another example is Andy Warhol. His painting of the Campbell soup cans, which was made when he was relatively unknown, was pointing out the blandness of mass production. His one piece of art began a whole new genre of art that challenged the norms of society. Artists like Douglas Adams, Frank Herbert, and Orson Scott Card revolutionized fiction with their sci-fi novels. Artists began the punk culture that allowed society to be angry and, well, grow their hair out. In short, artists had a large impact. However, without art being created by the artist, there is no great impact. Now, with AI getting better and better at making art itself, it's not unreasonable to argue that artists and therefore everyday people are losing their power. Before AI was even released, studies from the National Endowment for the Arts show that, quote, all 18 to 24-year-olds were less likely to have a childhood art education than the 18 to 24-year-olds of 1982. Technology itself is disrupting our precious time from making the crucial art that we need. AI will only make this creative decline worse. In an article on Forbes, Nelson Granada cites research by Alok Gupta stating that, quote, Gupta and his colleagues show that over-reliance on AI can lead to a decrease in the diversity of thinking, leading to suboptimal collective performance. Gupta adds, essentially humans start mimicking AI and stop taxing their own brains, and therefore they all act smart, similarly like Borgs. There's nothing more unique than the creative human brain, and if we all stop using that and instead use the same AI, we'll be training AI to have brains like ours. And in the worst case scenario, we all use AI's brain, meaning we all have one brain? Pretty interesting until you realize that the reality is closer than it seems. With that being said, the answer is clear. We need change, we need art, and most importantly, we need artists. But what if we don't go down the right path and continue to make art? What are the consequences? In a time where there is heavy division, we're not going anywhere without change. Humanity cannot adapt unless we change, and as I gave examples prior, the best way to create change is through art. New trends in culture don't just come out of nowhere, they come from an artist's mind. A mind freer and fuller of new and radical ideas. Art doesn't just form new beliefs, but it unifies people by gathering many people's beliefs through ideas that just can't be put into words. So collectively we can come together, make music, form community, paint together, and really unify our crazy and wild ideas. With that in mind, it's time to go offline, learn a new instrument, find a new passion, and create community. The world doesn't need AI to solve its problems, it needs the artist in you to help stand up for what's right. It's up to you to make change. There's an artistic soul in all of us, and a little bit less online time and more physical real time can help bring out the best person in you. So, what you waiting for?